You want to know what's so funny? As I'm like listening to our little intro, and my mom, when I first sent it to her when she first saw it, she was like, do you think that the music's like a little like serious, a little like, you know? And I was like, listen, this is the only serious part of our show. So
Yeah.
it's just a good intro, it's like a nice like palate cleanser. And then we're like, hi.
And then hey, we're going to terrify you with our personalities today.
And then we're literally going to scream into the microphones. So sorry.
No, literally, I'm not even joking. It was so funny because like I never wear both my headphones, but I put both my headphones in when you played that. And I was like inside of our intro. I was like,
I know, right? That's what I was doing this.
everything.
You couldn't see me, but I was just vibing.
Stop. Yep. No,
White
literally
girl dancing.
Yeah, I was feeling it.
White girl dancing.
It's so cutesy. Ooh, white girl dancing in the club. In the club, we all fam.
In the club, we all fam. In the club,
we are all family.
Are you racist?
We did that at the exact same time. I so hope that it like caught on. It's so perfect.
Even if it didn't. Hi, welcome back to You Sports, the very unserious but also serious sports podcast by my beautiful best friend and I. This is Caitlin. I'm Spencer. If you're new here, because we've been getting a lot of new friends. Oh, fuck.
I know. I never know which side.
We've been getting a lot of new friends. It's so nice to have you all. So excited to have you here.
We are so happy you're here.
We are so happy you're here. We're back in the throes of NBA season. And I just wanted to say, because a lot of you sometimes are a little confused, our goal with this show was to be as different from what you see as possible while also giving you like real takes, real analysis, but also making sports fun again. Caitlin said that, I think, in one of our first episodes. I
want to get like a hat. Make sports fun again.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are here not
sports
to be
are fun.
Yes, we're here not to be doom and gloom, even though I probably will be a little bit for the end of this episode, which I like to warn people. I was a theater kid. I don't know if that's a surprise to anyone or if it's not. I actually would like to know if you would have ever guessed that. Anyway, I love to be dramatic. You can ask my parents. Like my mom always says Spencer either has the worst day ever or the best day ever. And this is true.
There's no in between. Yep. No, that's literally me since the day I was born. Drama on full blast, 24/7, all the time.
Yes. Caitlin and I both feel things very extremely. So I just wanted to say, if you're like, oh my God, it was one game of the season, I'm so aware of that, like so aware, but I just have to get these feelings out. And then today the Nuggets are going to play in a few hours. We're going to post this like right before. So it will probably have already happened by the time most of you are watching this. And maybe we win and maybe all is well in the world again. But for right now, I'm in my sad Spencer moment. So we're going to talk about that last.
It's important to feel your feelings. And I also think that like we're both very self-aware. Like I don't think people understand, like when I make crazy takes, I will literally, before I make my crazy take, like I'm not like a big, hot take girl. I'll literally look at you in the eye and be like, this take is insane. And let me explain why I'm making it. Like,
why she thinks that way.
I know I'm crazy.
Yes, and it's okay if you don't think that way. Honestly, I have argued with not argued, but I've had like some discourse like recently about some teams with honestly people who have been doing this a lot longer than I, who have a lot more experience analyzing. But in the first week, I was right. So listen, if you have a Caitlin likes to call them bold takes, and I agree. I think it's nice not to like, hot take just for the views. Totally. We like to like bold take, and we usually actually think that way. We're not doing this for views. We're doing this to make friends. So if you're new here, we love you.
And to just chit chat about sports. There's literally nothing that we love more. I think like the best thing about sports, and then we'll like actually get into it, but the best thing about sports is sports discourse, and sports discourse without fighting. That's why we want to make sports fun again, because like the coolest thing in the world is like seeing how every single one of our minds, like me and Spencer are the exact same person, literally like inside and out.
Disturbing.
And we still have so many different sports takes.
So many.
Yes. And it's just because we all watch the game differently. We all find different parts of the game to be important. We all prioritize different parts of a team, different parts of a game, things that we want to see. We all see that differently. And I think it's really cool to have like open discussions about that stuff and see what other people think, because one, you can learn from other people, and two, they can learn from you. And again, then we can make sports fun and just enjoy the damn game. Okay.
So we love when you comment disagreeing with us. And if you've noticed, a few of you have disagreed with us and then we've just killed you with kindness. Okay, we don't want to argue. We want to hear your take. Please tell us.
Yes.
But we can like tone it down. I mean, if you're just, if
You
that's
can
how
be
you
a little
are, that's
less
fine.
angry.
But we're like always open to hearing it. We said this, I think, in our very first episode. We always want to hear it. Caitlin and I actually, because I guess we've gained a lot of you since we haven't been together. Of course, if you look at our earlier episodes in the off season, we were together much more because there was less content, and we're trying to give you as much as possible and be as current as possible. But Caitlin is coming in 6 days? 6 days.
Yes.
So
next week, I'm so excited. I like literally just got like anxious and like butterflies. I'm so excited.
So Caitlin's going to be here. This is the first studio. She's home in her second studio. We will be back there. Well, I will be with her there in a couple weeks after she's here. And it's going to be so fun. While she is here, if you are new and you have any friends or boyfriends, girlfriends, literally anyone that you want to watch basketball with you or wants to like understand basketball with you and they've expressed an interest, we filmed like a girl's guide, aka our girl's guide. Like we were explaining our way with pictures and videos the whole game of football. And we are going to do the same thing with basketball. We are going to have, again, pictures and videos with every position, you know, your most common fouls, your most common calls, like everything, explaining how that works. So get excited for that. And if you have people that you're going to want to share that with, we would love for you to do that.
Period.
That was a lot. Okay, now we can start.
I'm so excited.
Last night, Caitlin and I basically were on like the phone for the last
hour of
half of this game. And we mainly just like, of course, want to cover like the main things, but Lakers versus Suns, we have to talk about both these teams, of course. Who do you want to talk about first, Caitlin? I don't even know who we start with. Do we start with the winner?
Yes, let's do that. Let's start with the Lakers, because the Lakers had quite the comeback yesterday. And if you were watching the game, and if you were watching the game, it was not always looking that way. The first half definitely looked like the Suns were absolutely just outplaying them, I would say, like in all aspects of the game. And then the second half,
them really.
Really, no, truly, they were literally shooting lights out for the first like half of the game. And then Lakers came out, and if you saw Lakers game one, they looked amazing. Second half of this game, Lakers looked amazing. And I hate saying this, Austin Reaves looked really good.
Really good. And JJ Reddick agreed.
So bad. I know. Sorry. Okay. I need to stop being such a hater. I'm only a Austin Reaves hater because everyone compared him so much to Jordan Poole and then hated on Jordan Poole, but they're like such similar players, really. And like, again, people are going to be mean and they're going to disagree with me and they're going to be like, oh, Austin Reaves is way better. Okay. Don't care. Don't care. I get it. I understand. Okay.
We heard you. But, it's like when you tag Caitlin and I, because of our friends that are not friends, like, or that are not fans of Nuggets Nation, it's the same thing when you guys decide to tag us that like the Nuggets are losing. We're so aware. I love you, besties.
We literally know.
We're watching. They're only hitting 20% of their shots. I know. I'm watching it in real time. Yep. No need to remind me.
Yeah.
But thanks.
Literally. But I just feel like everyone in the second half of the Lakers game looked amazing. Anthony Davis still playing with that freaking exclamation point. Him and Austin Reaves have been playing so efficiently. It makes me mad. They're just like, they're taking good shots. They're making good plays. They're being so smart. Anthony Davis is actually like, if I were a center in the league right now, I would not want to be in the paint with Anthony Davis. That's all I'm saying. Unless I'm like Nikola Jokic, but you know, that would be a fun one.
Said about Austin Reaves, by the way, he said, I knew he was a good player before I took this job. I didn't realize he was this good. And
I think he looks different. I mean, like, I wouldn't say like all the way different. I know he was fine last year. Like I know he was good last year, but these 2 games, like he has really come out and been like, I'm Austin Reaves, bitch. Like,
I feel
like he's really solidified that
energy. I don't know. All of the Lakers, they, first of all, I do want to say this. The Lakers are 2-0 for the first time in 13 years.
Yep. Good start.
Which
2-0, we'll take it.
Absolutely insane. And I definitely made fun of JJ Reddick getting this job. I thought it was I thought it was like a LeBron, playing GM. He looks ready, I do have to say. And Anthony Davis, actually, I think there's something in the locker room. Maybe they didn't like, none of them like Darvin Ham. I don't know. Because
I think that's the collective agreement.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I say that because Anthony Davis was talking about how they were really trusting what JJ Redick had to say, and that and he literally came in at halftime and said it's fine. Like, relax, settle down. We know what we're doing wrong. We know how to fix it. And so he looked like a seasoned coach. I'm not going to lie. And Anthony Davis said him not panicking makes us not panic. And when I tell you that,
I was just about to say. Like, that's exactly, I think, like a mindset, like a coach that has like a good mindset and that doesn't like come in and doom and gloom your team at halftime and like make you feel like you're a piece of crap and doing exactly like someone that's going to come in and be like, we're the effing Lakers. You're LeBron James. You're Anthony Davis. Like, you all know who you are. You know what you're doing wrong. Adjust it. We're good. Like, that's huge.
If there's any other game in the past, like 3 seasons, if you told me the Lakers were down 22 points at the half, I'm sorry, I'm not picking them. The Lakers were up 22 points at the half and they lost the whole lead against the Nuggets like twice, like 20-point leads. So I'm actually thinking, and I hate saying this again, I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm not a LeBron fan, really. Anthony Davis did go to Kentucky, and in past seasons, I haven't loved him. I love what he looks like this season. Like,
I hate that I'm so excited to watch them.
It's honestly him. Like, he has just looked so amazing, and the Lakers have really like opened up the floor for him. And like, you have Austin Reaves, who is out playing Devin Booker. Like, he was literally just taking him off the dribble, and like he was efficient last night. Literally 5 for 7 from deep, had 26 points. And then we talked about Rui last episode. Rui Hachimura had, it's same with last game. Like, the whole game wasn't Rui's game, but he had like some highlight plays that came, I think, in important moments.
He shows up when he's needed, and like he's been really good at that.
And he does it like you said, with like an exclamation point where it makes like the whole crowd like go, whoa.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And like I think like that's a thing too. And I talk about this a lot because I am a Warriors fan, and we talked about this with the Celtics too. I think you're going to maybe see that a lot more, is just like these teams with these incredible players. I think it's so important that like, while a lot of the times they are great basketball minds, they're basketball players first, and like their brain is just like, how do I make this work? How do I score? How do I defend? Like, how do I stop them from scoring?
Yeah.
Like, if you sit there and like all you're doing is running plays, or you're doing like, box and one, or, 5 out or anything like that. Like, if you're like, okay, we're going to run this offense where we have 5 guys around the perimeter and one's going to cut, and then you're going to cut out and you're going to fill. Like, if you're playing like that kind of stuff, like, you're not really letting them play freely. Like, if you let these guys make these reads and play freely, they are going to play not only their most fun brand of basketball, but their best brand of basketball. Like, when they're like, oh,
the
like,
ball is popping.
Yes, so like, oh, I see this mismatch. I'm going to toss this ball to AD, and I'm going to let AD work this guy. Like, if you let them do that, like, they're so good at that because they know each other and they know how they play. And if you let them play free basketball, like, that's what you get. And I feel like that's exactly what the Lakers have been doing these last couple games, is just like letting these guys play. And I think that's why like they're almost like a little bit more excited too, because like they know how to make big plays without having to like sit there and like be a perfect offense, I guess, if that makes sense.
100%. And I also think that they have kind of realized that Anthony Davis is coming into this role of like being the number one more option, because like obviously LeBron's getting older. Of course, LeBron is an amazing player, but I think they're realizing how well I think they're realizing how well the offense is working through, like getting it to AD and letting him go to work. And they're kind of like embracing that as a whole. And they're all, again, like they're just, the ball is popping. They're making good reads to each other. They're keeping it fast-paced.
They're taking smart shots too. Like they're not just chucking up shots. And I feel like over the last couple of years, like Austin Reaves and D'Lo's still doing this, but like even like Rui sometimes, like you'd see him like just force shots, like just trying to like make something happen. Yeah, D'Lo does just
When I'm
exist,
talking about how well the Lakers look, it never involves D'Angelo Russell. I'm letting you know that right now.
I've been talking to a couple of Lakers fans, and I didn't realize either, but like some Lakers fans are literally like, get him off my team. Like they also like let Austin Reaves be the starting point guard and put Dalton Connect in the starting lineup.
Honestly, it would be interesting to see.
No, literally.
But I mean, it was just so amazing to watch because, you know, we can like kind of move on to the Suns after we just glazed the Lakers. I'm so sorry, Nuggets fans.
I'm so sick.
But Anthony Davis did a great job of exploiting, obviously, the Suns' most obvious weakness, which is their lack of size. As my best friend and I said in July or August, Yusuf Nurkic had 4 turnovers, 4 fouls, and 1 basket against Anthony Davis and was on the bench in the fourth quarter. And the Suns were forced to use Kevin Durant, who rarely guards centers, on Davison said. And what did Caitlin and I say? You need a small ball 5, a versatile big that can come in there and play small with you, but you need someone because Plumlee and Nurkic were both benched. And then what did Caitlin and I brought in? Once you have, of course, they got Tyus Jones. You have a real point guard. You've now got Booker and Beal on the wings. You've got Durant as your 4. And now you are very small at the 5. And the defense is so glaringly, obviously a problem.
And not just that they're so small at the 5, but like Mason Plumlee and Nurkic are not strong bigs. So they're almost like weak at the 5 too. Like they're
not strong at their position.
Like I've seen smaller 5s work way harder and work some other centers way more than those two. Those two are like, oh, you have you're not going to go up on it. You're not going to post him up really. Like you're literally twice his size. What are you doing? Like they're not aggressive and they don't put in like the effort that you need from a big, especially against Anthony Davis.
Especially against Anthony Davis. And Caitlin and I have been chirping about this because Kevin Garnett went on to say that the Suns are, sneaky contenders, and everyone's been talking about how good the Suns are. And I understand it's because you can't underestimate people like Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant. But you cannot win in the West without defense. Like you simply can't do it. You cannot go against the Wolves with no defense. You cannot go against the Thunder with no defense. And besides our showing the other night, you cannot go against the Nuggets. And especially if you're making it to the finals, there's no way you are beating the Boston Celtics without defense.
Yeah, and that was like, and honestly, it was like, this is the same-ish. It's a little bit different, obviously, with Tyus Jones and everything like that now. And now, obviously, you have Booker, KD, and Bradley Beal all healthy, hopefully for the whole season. There's nothing I love more than basketball being played with your best players healthy. I hate injuries. I hate them so much.
I wish everyone was healthy all of the time so we never have any qualms about who wins the championship. Yes, I 100% agree.
Yes. And so but that was their exact problem last year in the playoffs. I went to a couple of the Suns Wolves game, or I went to a Suns Wolves game, and then I went to a Nuggets Wolves game with Spencer. But like the Suns Wolves game that I went to, was the most competitive of the 4 because they did get swept by the Wolves. And that was the problem the first 3 games. And that was the only thing that they finally showed up with in game 4 was a little bit better defense, but they were already 3 losses deep. They were 3 losses deep because they could not play defense. They cannot play in these hyper competitive games with no bench and little defense.
Especially in those clutch moments when you're again, it was like a 6-point or 8-point game probably in the last few minutes. And they surrendered 71 second half points to the Lakers. The first half, it was going again how I expected because they shot the lights out. And Caitlin and I have been preaching this. Like you and I have both said.
They're going to start out damn well.
Yeah. And they could even finish well against a lot of teams in the NBA because of their offensive firepower. Like it's hard to stop that when you have so many threats. Of course, you're spacing the floor out. But when you get on the other end, like that's where you have the problem. Like, so when you have nights like how the Nuggets just played, when the shots aren't falling, you're vulnerable. If you can't If you can't at least get a stop on the other end when you're not making anything, you're going to get blown out. And, you know, again, they were swept last spring because they struggled to score. And so I feel like they have the same problems. And of course, they have Mike. Do you know how to say his last name?
Which one?
Budenholzer?
Budenholzer,
terrible name.
It is. It's a bad name.
I'm so sorry, Mike. Just gonna
Sorry,
call you
Mike.
Of course they have Mike now instead of Frank Vogel. And I think it's just like obvious. And I'm going to put the clip in here or at some point, like right after this, where Caitlin and I talk about how Nurkic and Plumlee are not good options. And they're not good options, especially when you get into the playoffs. And if you have to bench them in this was their second game. Yes. Okay. I was like first or second. When you have to bench them in the second game of the season in the fourth quarter, it is not looking good for you.
Yeah. And I want to show this too, because I feel like this is kind of like a good story of the game for them. So on the Real app, which is something that Spencer and I use all the time.
This is what I use. Mainly during the games. It's so great. And if you can't watch the game, they have like a play-by-play. It'll say Devin Booker missed 28, foot 3 or a game tying foul. It's a great app.
Yes. And so this has a shot chart of all of their misses. And the Suns not only were missing a ton around the perimeter, but from like the free throw line, the entire paint, everywhere in the paint, they had misses on misses. Okay, yeah. They had misses here. Like crazy in the paint. And it's just like you are right under the basket. Those need to be the shots that you're making. Those should be like automatic buckets for you if you're a center.
Yes. That's what, Nurkic, sorry, what was it? He had 4 turnovers, 4 fouls, and 1 basket. If you're under the rim, bestie, you should just be laying it up, getting it up there, tipping it in, getting rebounds.
That's what I'm saying. And he's not like willing to post people up either. And so that's like, I don't know, again, it's just like aggressiveness and effort, and I see nothing. I think that they're going to be a great regular season team. I think that you're able to play tons of these teams in the East and even the West,
and put up big
throughout
numbers
the season, and exactly outscore them, and that's how you win. But once you get to the playoffs and you're starting to play the better teams, especially if you're a lower seeded team. These higher seed teams are going to absolutely annihilate you with bench and defense, and you're just not going to get past the first round with that. Like literally, they didn't play Grayson Allen, they didn't play Damian Lee. I'm like, if your starters are playing 35 to 40 minutes, and only like 4 other guys on your team are playing 15 minutes, you are overplaying your starters. And then you didn't even play, like, you have other guys that you can at least try out, Damian Lee, Grayson Allen, etc. Why aren't you doing that? Like, why aren't you seeing if you can get something else going? Like, I never understood that.
No, it made no sense to me. I don't have much else to say on that game, but I did want to just highlight a cool sports moment. So the biggest cheer of the night came when the Suns hit a third quarter 3-pointer, but it wasn't for the shot. This was the precise moment when Freddie Freeman hit his walk-off grand slam, and the crowd went wild. And
because it's in LA, huh? The Dodgers. Stop.
Yeah, so it was actually it was a really cool moment. I'm sure the Suns were like, "Oh my God, what'd we do? We hit a 3." Why are the Lakers fans so excited?
It was so good. It was so good. Spencer, I was going to say, Spencer doesn't like love baseball, but like moments like that are awesome, just like in general for any sports fan.
Cool sports moments.
Yes. And if you didn't know, it was literally bottom of the 10th. And the Yankees were up 3-2. And the Yankees, for strategy purposes, decided to walk Mookie Betts, which like probably a good idea, because if he would have hit a home run, then they would have won anyway. But the funny part is that their other fantastic hitter, Freddie Freeman, was coming up next. And so Like if you're the Yankees, you're just like, do I want to get stabbed to death or do I want to get beat to death?
Shot to death, yeah.
Literally, like what's my option? I'm screwed either way. And so they decided to walk Mookie Betts. They had 3 on, 2 outs. First pitch, Freddie Freeman hits a grand slam. It was incredible. And so I love that all of the Lakers fans were like in that too. I think that's so cool. I didn't know that. I love that.
It was very, very cool. You could hear it so blatantly obvious. Everyone screaming. It was so cool. They talked about it on like the broadcast.
And I just want to I was going to say, wait, before we move on, I totally forgot to tell you, they announced that Bronny James will be going on this road trip with the Lakers and then we'll be going down to the G League. So for all the people that were like, let's give Bronny James some time to develop, he's going down to the G League after this 5-game road trip, and hopefully he gets some reps and gets a chance to develop a little bit more.
I want to say I hope he gets that chance if he wants it. I mean, maybe he does want this. Obviously, no one knows. I think he has to do it either way. So I would love for whatever's in Bronny James' heart. I hope whatever he wants for himself is what happens, if that makes sense. So if he wants to be competitive in this league and he wants to play, I hope he gets the chance to develop and do well in the G League. And if he doesn't, I hope he's able to kind of do whatever he wants with his life. Obviously, he has a world of opportunities outside of basketball. So I mean, he should start a podcast, to be honest, because obviously he's been around LeBron his whole life. Clearly.
I had a size sticker on my t-shirt.
Oh, where was it?
Right there.
Oh.
Took it off. Don't worry.
Do we care?
No.
Moving on to another team that I don't always love, mainly because of the talent and the way they did us in the West. I want to talk about the Wolves a little bit, if that's okay with you.
I would love that. Yes, that sounds perfect.
I wanted to give a shout out to Anthony Edwards because he is showing, and this isn't even necessarily how he's playing, he is showing to have matured so much this year. And really, last year, I just thought he was the annoying shit talker kid that wants to dunk on you and then make fun of you for it.
Yeah.
He's that kid that, well, he obviously probably has the worst case of ADHD I've ever seen in my life. I say that as a girl.
It's all of the hot Cheetos.
Yeah, literally. You're watching him and you could just tell that he was that kid that was the class clown and always
hyperactive and nuts.
Always getting sent to the office. So I loved his energy, but when it's against your own team, you're okay, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, can you stop?
Can you stop? But he has shown that this year he is he realizes with Kat gone, I think, that he is supposed to be that leader. And so one of the things
he's got to be the voice of reason
that I thought was really cool is he told the cameras that he had told Julius Randle, he said, it's not our job for you to fit around us. It's our job to fit around you. Which, if you would have told me that a player said that on the Wolves, I would have never thought it was Anthony Edwards.
I would have been Mike Conley for sure. Totally. It was definitely Mike Conley.
It was definitely Mike Conley. No, it was Anthony Edwards who, and then of course you have Julius Randle goes on. He scores 33 points in 34 minutes, 5 rebounds, 4 assists on 76.5% shooting.
He did so good.
He and Anthony Edwards both had a 30-point game. I feel I owe him a little bit of an apology. I didn't know, with all the injuries and things, I didn't know if he could still play like that. But he did so good.
I have been a Julius Randle, what's the word I'm looking for? Not hater, questioner. I haven't really seen him play full force
in a long time.
For a long time. And so, yes, and I really like seeing him next to Anthony Edwards, actually, having Anthony Edwards as his guy. It just it makes sense to me.
And I think something that, again, the last episode we were oh my gosh, do they want to trade backsies? No gives backsies. But he was actually doing some old-fashioned bully ball, which you weren't getting with Kat when he was on the Wolves. Kat would much rather settle for jump shots against smaller defenders. So, the Wolves are loving this type of bully ball. They haven't really experienced it. And then one more thing on Anthony Edwards, just like maturity and growth. So the deciding play was with Edwards was dribbling out the clock before the Kings had a double team come his way. So he tossed the ball to Mike Conley before getting it back and drove to the lane, drawing contact, getting to the free throw line. They obviously win by 2. And he was actually asked by a reporter if he would have chosen something different instead of driving to the lane on that play. And he said 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago, I would have probably go left, the right, take a step back jumper. And then he said, you're supposed to mature as you get older. So I made a mature play. I made Finchie happy by getting to the rim. I'm pretty sure I would have settled for a jumper. I'd be hearing about it. I'm pretty sure if I would have settled for a jumper, I'd be hearing about it right now.
Stop. And you know what? You want to know what that tells me, though, is that Chris Finch is a fantastic coach.
Yes. That he respects. Because he seems like the kind of guy that would just question authority potentially. He, of course, we don't know these players, but it's like the air, the aura, like the vibe you get. Like he could be that kid that's like, no, I'm doing this. Like,
I'm good.
You told me that.
Gotta make my own play.
Yeah,
I know. And then in 4 seconds, poor Keegan Murray missed his 3, which like it was so close. It was a good look. I know, and it was a really good look for him. Me too. It just hit the rim and rolled off. So that sucks for him. But it was a great game to watch. I was telling Spencer, like I had no like qualms or like concerns watching this game. Like both teams looked really good. They looked comfortable.
I think how
playing.
we thought they were going to be. Caitlin and I both have
both of these teams. Yeah,
we have both these teams going like pretty high. I think I had the Kings going to the 5th seed this year, and I think Caitlin had them at 6, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we both have them top 6, like out of the play-in, but in the playoffs. So, they just I don't really have much else to say about this game, but just besides the fact that like both teams looked really good and played really good. Like there isn't much that I would change. I'll be really interested to see how Divencenzo ends up fitting in this Wolves team. Just because he looks a little lost. I know.
That was literally the only point I had left.
Yep. Literally. I'll be interested to see how they fit him in there.
If you're new here, Caitlin and I always say we have 2 halves of the same brain.
Yeah, 2 halves of a whole idiot. We're the same person.
Yes, we almost always literally are either eating the exact same food or saying like the amount of times we will text each other at the same minute, the same thing. It's disturbing. But yeah,
it's terrifying.
Dante was 4 of 10, shooting 1 of 6 from 3. So I don't know. Again, my biggest thing is I worry about how trades go over because I'm that empath that's like, what about their friends? Mm-hmm. What about their besties? Like,
me too.
So when Kat got traded, I don't even love Kat like that, but I was like, that's so mean. And like, even it seemed like Divincenzo was like a little jaded from it. So I want him to do well because if you're going to get traded, I want you to at least succeed and kind of make them feel bad for what they did.
Period.
Which is perfect because I want to talk about another trade that Caitlin was very high up on and I really liked as well and was interested to see, and that's Klay to the Mavs.
And I'm like, okay. And I just want to say, like, I'm so happy about this. And this is totally speaking of friends. What about their friends? Okay, like the thing when Klay got traded, Steph and Draymond, like I was so worried because Steph, Draymond, and Klay have played together for 13 years. They've been a trio for 13 years. They are best friends. Literally all of the
4 rings.
4 rings, baby. All of the front office in the Warriors, like they would say that when they would travel to and from games every single year, the 3 of them would be at a table together. You would never see them not with each other. Every single game, 82 games. I know, 82 games a year, the 3 of them would sit at a little like section together. I know. It's like so sad. Ew. I'm like literally, ew, why are we getting emotional? Okay. And when he got traded, obviously Steph and Draymond were very sad about it. But they just said they're like, Klay needs this for like his mental health and just like for himself. And like, I just, they're like, we just want to see him happy. I know. And you know what? Klay Thompson looks happy and he looks so good. And I'm so happy for him. Spencer and I talked about this a lot in like one of our first episodes when we were talking about the trade. When you have guys on the team like Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, and Luka, you have 3 guys where like one of them is getting doubled. Like you can't let one of them not get doubled. The second that Luka or Kyrie drive towards the basket, you're having someone else drop. You're having another defender drop to help and be on that help defense, and that leaves one guy wide open. And guess who that guy was several times last game? It was Klay, MF, and Thompson, one of the best three-point shooters in the entire league. He was, I think, 6 for 11 from three.
Franchise record for most threes made in a debut.
Record. Yep, he played so well. I'm just going back just to make sure that I don't F up his stats or anything. But yes, he was. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 6 for 10, so 60% from three, which is amazing. 7 for 13 overall. He was a plus 16, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 steals. And I just want to talk about it because people also talked a bunch of shit about his defense. Like, where's the Mavs defense gonna be? Okay, like. That's valid. Okay. I'm so with you. But like, that's what I was saying is that like as Klay over the last year or two has kind of like slowed down on the offensive end, that is one of the things that he's worked on is just his general defensive effort. This guy had 3 MF and steals. And even Luka, Mr. I Play No Defense, had a steal and a block. The defensive effort is there on the Mavericks, and that makes them way scarier to the rest of the league. Like the Mavericks adding defense is like if the Suns were to add like really great defense and a bench. Like because the Mavs have defense and a bench now. That's terrifying.
I did want to again expound upon like what Caitlin was talking about. When you have Klay now with Luka and Kyrie, the spacing on the floor, again, it's so good. How do you guard that? Because that is such like a demoralizing offense. Because again, if you're not guarding Kyrie or Luka, or if you're having to double them, you're having to say, maybe Klay's having an off night and he can punish you. And that's what he did. And of course, like people were, worried about his defensive, like it's not the same because he's had injuries and surgeries and he's older. Yeah. Like it's not going to be the same, but as long I think as the effort is there, it's going to be enough, and literally 6 from 10 from three, 7 rebounds, 3 steals.
That's what I'm saying. It's just effort.
It's so effort. And then the other thing with the Mavs, like moving on, we love how Klay Thompson is. Another person that I have been so high on, and I was high on him in our
D-Live.
Derrick Lively and Gafford is such like again, we say this in football, like when you have a 1-2 punch. What are you doing against these guys? Derrick Lively didn't even start, and his stat line had 15 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists, tying a career high in assists. So even if his stats don't show like the defensive impact, because I don't think they always do. I felt the same way about KCP on the Nuggets a lot. He was such a good perimeter defender and he would get steals, but he didn't have like the flashy blocks. It was just his presence. And so, the center rotation of Lively and Daniel Gafford is going to be one of the best, I think, in the NBA if they're both healthy. Like, Lively was constantly under the rim, protecting the rim. The Mavs look good. So everyone, even I was the one who ranked the Mavs low in our last talk about it. Caitlin was higher up on their defense. I was not. They shut me up. Dallas forced 19 turnovers.
Shut me up.
They did. They shut me up. It's hard to do. Dallas had 19 turnovers, 9 steals, and 5 blocks in the win, which is like probably one of their best defensive games in a really long time. They were cutting off lanes to the basket. They were maintaining like just all of their good man-to-man coverage. Like it was so good. The Mavs crashed the glass, 17 offensive rebounds. Yeah. It was good. One of my favorite parts, because I don't have too much more to say other than I'm always happy when a guy has to kind of make a move and is happy. Yeah. Once there's a clip when Klay gets the ball and Luka just started running back on defense because he knew it was going on.
It's in.
And that's another thing I always worry. I'm like, are the guys going to be nice to them when they join? And clearly they like each other, so it was happy. I'm happy for him.
They're so happy. Like it seems like Kyrie, Luka, and Klay are all really happy to be on the same team. And you know what? If you had one of the best finishers in the league, Kyrie Irving, one of the best offensive players in the league, Luka Doncic, and one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, Klay Thompson, on the same starting 5, I'm sorry, I would be happy too. I would be thrilled. You know how easy they all make each other's job now just by like having each other? I can't even imagine. So watch out for the Mavs because Mavs adding defense is scary.
Very scary. So we're really happy for Klay. I can't wait to keep watching that. Of course, there is a ton of games today, so you'll probably be watching this after things have already happened. But we wanted to go ahead and get this out. And then I just wanted to mention a little bit how, because Caitlin and I recapped the Celtics Knicks, of course, first game, and our main thing that we were talking about was just how it looked like a team that hasn't been playing together for long, and that's not a bad thing. It just, you could tell that the Celtics, of course, like how close they are, just I think made it almost look worse. Yeah, and just because of how connected they are, and you know how in tune they are. The Knicks looked so much better last night in a great win over the Pacers. Again, these are things like with reps, with games, you're going to get better and better. They looked like the Knicks that I have been expecting them, to get to be. And so I didn't have like too much.
Cat looked like Cat. I think that was like the biggest thing is that like, I think like Cat kind of found his, I don't know, like aggressiveness and just like he found himself on the team a little bit better. Like he had 21 points and 15 rebounds. That was something I felt like I was really missing from him. And that first game was like, he wasn't playing his game.
His rebounds over the past few years have like slipped. Like he has not been that person that's getting like 15 rebounds. So it was interesting to see from him.
Yes.
And you even were talking about him like driving to the rim.
Yep. Yeah. He was being a little bit more aggressive, which like I loved because he was getting to the free throw line. I'm like you're Cat, you're Karl Anthony Towns, you're gigantic.
You're big.
Like, yes. And you can shoot threes and you can grab rebounds and you can be aggressive. Like, I need you to do that. And he was doing that. He was making really good plays. He seemed, like I said, a lot more comfortable with this team and with his position on the team. He had a steal and 2 blocks, I think, or 2 steals and a block. Let me see. Hold on. A steal and 2 blocks. He had a steal and 2 blocks. Like he was good on the defensive end too. He was just so much more aggressive and he just looked a little bit more comfortable. So it was really good to see him like that. And the Knicks all flowed really well together. Jalen Brunson looked great. Miles Bridges,
everyone was contributing.
Bridges. Yes, Mikal Bridges was shooting so much better.
Even though his shot is so ugly.
It is so interesting. I was really focusing on it. Yes,
it's a great word.
I was focusing on it so much yesterday and I was like, that is a shot.
That's a shot. That's Caitlin and I love to say that if something's interesting, like, oh, that's a choice. That is.
You did make that choice.
It is a choice that was made. Yeah. I
got nothing else to say.
I will say that after they obviously allowed 29 triples, they clamped down hard on Pacers. Obviously, the Pacers are not the Celtics, but they were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, baby. They only hit 3 of 30 3-pointers, and then when everybody
of 30.
Yeah.
How did I not know that? That's so bad, Pacers. Well, it doesn't help that Tyrese Haliburton had a big old goose egg. Homeboy had 0 right after I said, Tyrese Haliburton needs to play ball and this Pacers team will be good. And then the Pacers team started playing really bad, and then Tyrese Haliburton went to have 0 points. So I just need to stop talking. Yeah, I need to stop talking.
Was 0 of 8 from the field, 0 from 7 from the 3-point line, 1 turnover, 1 rebound, 5 assists, 1 steal. I feel very bad. I
love Hallie.
I honestly didn't even know that he was there.
No,
and I love him.
Me too. I always say I'm repping Hallie in the Valley, as stupid as that is, and it's so corny. But I always just joke about it. I love him as like a player. Hallie was really funny because he blamed Steph Curry last game and said that Steph Curry told him to try out pregame naps and stuff like that. And then he played like shit last game. And so he said that Steph was gonna, like, Steph asked him to text him after the game and let him know how it went. And he's like, Steph's about to get a text from me right now. Yes. And so then I was like, okay, maybe this game will be better. No. And then he was like, maybe this game will be better. And then it wasn't any better.
Sorry, Hallie. All I had to say was, obviously, when everyone's scoring, it's hard to beat a team when everyone is contributing. And they had, I think, I want to read like the stats for the starters because it was just insane.
They did so
Karl
good.
Anthony Towns, 21 points. Jalen Brunson, 26. Mikal Bridges, 21. Josh Hart, 20. OG, 14. And then you had, McBride off the bench with 8. Payne, 7 points. Like, everyone was contributing, and it's pretty hard to defeat that. Is that going to happen every night? Probably not. The Pacers obviously don't have the number 1 defense in the league, but it was good to see them get a rhythm. I think it's games like that give you confidence to go into the next and the harder games.
Of course, absolutely. So before we start talking about our teams, the Warriors and the Nuggets, I mean, my Warriors, she's not really a Warriors fan, and then our Nuggets.
I was very obsessed with the Warriors.
You were.
During the Cavs Warriors vibes, and I still, Steph Curry was my favorite player of all time, and I still like him over LeBron. So while I won't say I'm a Warriors fan because I'm a Nuggets fan first,
she's an appreciator.
Yes. Continue.
An appreciator. But what I was going to say is that there is some awkward stuff happening over in the West with the Los Angeles Clippers. The Los Angeles Clippers, an old trainer of theirs is suing. His name's Randy Shelton. He's suing the Clippers for unsafe and illegal treatment of Kawhi Leonard. And for me, this is so awkward because Kawhi is still on the team. Okay? And
pretty damn awkward.
Yes. And he's suing them too because he also thinks that he was wrongfully terminated because of it, because he was not terminated or fired until he brought the concerns of the unsafe and illegal treatment of Kawhi to their attention. And then he was fired shortly after. He said that when he was working with Kawhi after his first ACL tear, that the quote for his return was 730 days. It was supposed to be a full 2 years. He was supposed to be out for 2. It was that bad of an injury. And the Clippers literally were like, that's not enough for us. That's not okay with us. And so they literally started having him take, they call biologics. It's essentially stem cell treatments and a bunch of shit, just fake injections and stuff like that to speed up the process, even though it's not good. Yes. And essentially did it on their own time and the way that they wanted to, because again, to them, 2 years of him being out was not okay. They didn't care about his injury. They just said, we need Kawhi, and that's not okay.
Clippers, boo, tomato, tomato.
I know. And so the Clippers, like I said that it was unacceptable. They allegedly agreed to a load management plan, the Clippers did, so that Kawhi, after his injury and everything like that, once he came back from his injury already too early, they agreed with the training team on a load management plan so that he was playing limited minutes and would take, X amount of games off and blah, blah, blah. And they apparently totally dipped out of that and started playing him excessive minutes and started totally went out of that load management.
What was
plan.
Kawhi doing? Can't he just say no? Or did he just want to play?
I'm sure he just wanted to play, and I'm sure he didn't want to lose his contract. I'm sure that there was something in there. I have no idea.
Because
it doesn't really
he's
say.
Obviously not incapacitated. He can talk.
Totally. My thought is that his position was being threatened. That's my only guess. But they didn't mention Kawhi in the lawsuit. They just mentioned his injury and stuff like that. They didn't say anything that he said or did. It was really just between the trainer and the Clippers. But they did say that once they started playing Kawhi excessive minutes, that he did complain of pain and swelling and inflammation and all that stuff. And so then that's when they started just doing excessive stem cell treatment things to band-aid the problem instead of just actually allowing him the time off to heal. And so then once the Clippers trainer complained,
that's a choice.
It is a choice and not a good one. Once the Clippers trainer complained about the unsafe and illegal treatment of him, they fired him shortly after. So he is currently suing them for wrongful termination and for the unsafe and illegal treatment of Kawhi. And like I said, how awkward for Kawhi still being on the team. Totally, as he should. Kawhi Leonard is currently out an undetermined amount of time, and I'm kind of wondering if maybe this has to do with it. I wonder if we'll see anything about him getting moved around or something like that.
I mean, but what team is going to want him?
Maybe a team that has a good training staff that's willing to allow him the time to come back. A team that has
But by the time he's ready,
a future timeline.
Yeah, but if he needs like 2 years, he needs to retire. But how
He's
old
already
is Kawhi?
old.
He's already 33. If you need 2 years, then he's 35, and he shouldn't be playing if he's already injury prone anyway. I think
agree. It kind
he
of
should
sucks for him.
retire.
Yeah, I'm so sad for him. It's a really awkward situation, and like, sorry, but shame on the Clippers because
No, I
this
feel
shit
so
is
bad.
for realsies.
I just feel bad for like any guy's body that like fails them almost, you know, because it's obviously like. You can't catch a break. That's how it feels sometimes, like with Jamal and the Nuggets, you know.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
He came back from like a hamstring pull and like the first game, like tweaked his ankle. You know what I mean? It just,
Yes,
it's, like,
of course.
unfair
You can't,
almost.
yes, you just like, sometimes you just can't catch a break with some of these players. So that's kind of how I feel with him. But
even like
that was
Michael
my
Porter
story.
has had like 3 back surgeries. And, you know, it's like, I'm like, I hope the people that are able to play every game don't take it for granted. Like,
Period.
I'm sure they don't. But, you know,
Ever,
I just can't.
yeah.
Even like our rookie, you know, tore his ACL, or was it ACL or Achilles in the summer league?
Yes, Achilles.
And I'm like, it's great that you get to learn your first year, but it's sad.
Yeah, it's sad.
Let's move on
Injuries
to
suck.
happier things, which is
Like the Golden State Warriors.
hey,
Guys.
I'm higher up on them than I was.
Yes. And you know what? Like, I just want to say, like, if you've been watching, the Golden State Warriors have absolutely blasted 2 teams in their first 2 games.
What I did want to start this though, continuing on with guys that get traded that I hope to see succeed. Continue with your
Love that. Okay. Yes. They, so the Warriors have absolutely blasted their first 2 teams. They have played so well. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, look at their competition. And like, I totally get that. I get like the whole competition. I get that they played the Jazz and that they played the Spurs.
Bucks just lost to the Bulls. Let's not talk about it.
Thank you.
It takes you have to, winning games that you're supposed to win is part of the job.
Yeah, literally. And so the Warriors played the Utah Jazz and the Portland Trailblazers, which are 2 of supposedly or like gonna be probably some of the worst teams in the league, which is fine. But the thing is that like in the past couple of years when the Warriors have not been great, they have been barely beating those teams. And I mean like barely beating those teams. Like they would literally come down to final shots in the game. These games, they have absolutely blown them out of the water. And when they played on Wednesday, one thing that I was just kind of like looking at, because this is a big thing with the Warriors offense. They like that free flowing offense around Steph Curry. That's just how they've always played. And now they have Buddy Hield, who's a guy that plays really free as well. And then you have Draymond, who just knows how to facilitate a free offense. And it's, you know, that's just how they work. And the thing is, a big part of their game is assists. They are a very unselfish type of basketball team. They out-assisted every single team that played on Wednesday by at least 7 assists. Like the closest team to them was the Magic with 32 assists, and they had 39 assists. And then every team after that had between 15 and 28 assists. So
That's insane.
Yes, so they are way out assisting every other team. They're playing a really good brand of team basketball. And not only that, but they also out-rebounded every single team, again, besides the Magic. That's also something that I want you guys to think about, is that the Magic are keeping up with these numbers. So look out for them on the East. But they had 57 rebounds on their game on Wednesday. 57. Okay, like that's a big number, especially with the Magic tying them at 57, and then most other teams, I think the closest team before them was 42. Some teams all the way down to 30 rebounds. So they're out rebounding teams by 20 plus. And granted, they're not, you know, playing those teams directly, but they are grabbing more rebounds than anyone in the league. They're assisting their guys more than anyone in the league. They're playing team basketball. The effort is there, and they are blowing these teams out. And someone that I have been so high on since we got him, Buddy Hield, I think he, like, we talked about it.
The Pacers, but I was going to
say, yep, I was going to say, I'm going to let you even talk about him a little bit in a second, because I know that you've like really enjoyed that. But I
is my 6th man of the year candidate prediction.
Am I gonna like high five you? Did you want me to? Bam. Wait.
Boop. Wait.
That was so cute. Oh wait, bad.
Wait, ready? Back.
We tried. Thank you, everyone. But yes, she
that.
said 6th man of the year. And you know what? Mine was Russell Westbrook. My pick for 6th man of the year is Russell Westbrook. And I am with Spencer on this Buddy Hield one right now because he just like, he looks fantastic. He's like supposed to be like the kind of like shooting fire on the bench for the Warriors and just like, you know, that extra little bit of like offensive boost for them. He's just been fantastic. He has everything that I thought that he would be.
71.4%.
71. He's efficient and he
I love
shoots
efficiency.
a lot, which is fantastic.
I love efficiency. I think it's what separates good players from great players. I talk about this a lot with Nikola Jokic.
Period.
I mean, his like, because I was talking to Caitlin earlier because a lot of people compare, of course, we're like, this is like a little sidebar, compare Alper and Şengün. Like they call him like baby Jokic. And he'll get like 20 points, like 15 rebounds, but his efficiency will be like 6 from 23. Jokic, like I think his worst game ever was like 6 from like 23 or something. I don't know. He had like his 2 worst efficiency games last season. Like his efficiency is absolutely insane. So I love efficiency. Buddy Hield was 10 of 14, 7 of 9 from 3. I love Buddy Hield. I am literally wondering every night why we don't have Buddy Hield on the Nuggets or any of the guards that were available. Yes, I know. Someone was like arguing with me last night because they said we have Buddy Hield at home and they posted Julian Strawther, and I'm going to go back to the Warriors, I promise. But I just meant Buddy Hield has, I think it's his 8th season in the league. And he obviously has that experience. And they're like, you're proving his point because that's what I said. And I was like, no, yes, Julian Strawther, I'm sure in 3 years will be incredible. Nikola Jokic
Why
is
did
who
we not
have
get
now.
one for now?
Nikola Jokic is 30 or turning 30 this year, I believe. Like, what do you, like, he doesn't want to, I don't think he wants to be playing in 4 years. Okay, so that's the little sidebar on that. But he looked amazing. My question to you, because I mean, I think the answer is either yes or in the top like 2. Are the Warriors the deepest team in the league right now? Because
my thought is yes. I want to say yes, and let me walk you through why. You and I have talked about every single one of these teams are playing their guys already between 36 and 42 minutes. All of their starters.
You're going to say exactly what I have to talk about. It's so good.
I love this game. Yes. So Steve Kerr currently has a 12-man rotation.
That's my first note.
12-man rotation. Yes, I do too. I love us so much. So he's got like he currently has a 12-man rotation. I know. It's amazing. And it's like, this is something, am I getting emotional about a 12-man rotation? Someone get me out of here. Okay. Anyway, that's disgusting. Listen to these minutes, okay? These are the minutes that these guys are playing when they are beating teams by 41 and by 30-something, whatever they beat I think it was 35, what they beat the Blazers by. Buddy Hield, 27 points in 19 minutes. Steph Curry.
That's insane.
Yes. 20 points. And mind you, Steph Curry had a disgusting shooting game. I love him so much.
Yeah.
He ended up doing way better in the second half, but he played
Still got it done.
Horrible basketball, ended up with 20 points still. And that's why Buddy Hield is important, because Steph Curry can finally have a shitty game and have someone help him offensively.
And
he does not have to carry Exactly. He does not have to carry the team on his back. But Steph Curry, 20 points in 27 minutes. Steph Curry played more minutes than anyone on the team by at least 3 minutes. That means that the next closest guy played only 24 minutes, and that was Brandon Pajemski. And then Andrew Wiggins, 23 minutes. TJD, 16 minutes. Kyle Anderson, 18. Looney, 13. And mind you, Looney had 9 points, 10 rebounds, an assist, and a block in his 13 minutes. 10 rebounds in 13 minutes. Talk about effort, okay?
They played 11 guys in the first quarter alone.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Moody played 18 minutes. GP2, 12 minutes. And then they even played Lindy Waters, who, mind you, is a like rookie that they got in like the 3rd round. And he's been fantastic. He's been like every time he touches, I was telling Jason, every time he touches the court, like he just does so well. And I'm like, who is this kid? Why is he so good?
Where did he come from?
Yeah, where did he come from? Jonathan Kuminga, 17 minutes. And I'm going to have to talk about him in another episode because homeboy is not looking like my MIP currently. DeAnthony Melton, 13 minutes. Guy Santos, 5 minutes. That is, I think that's 15 or 16 basketball players that they played in this game on top of just like their normal 12-man rotation. Not a single guy sniffed 30 minutes. Steph Curry played 27. And they won by 40.
What's that like to have your best player barely have to break 30 minutes?
I haven't seen it in years, Spence. I have not seen this since this 6 or 7
never
years.
Been a thing. Like
Steph Curry has always been like the guy that everything rides on.
And I was watching
he's barely sniffing 30.
ESPN, and they were like, listen, on my like basketball camps, I don't even put 11 guys on a team because I don't want them to like not play at all. So Warriors obviously played 11 guys in the first quarter alone. This, I will have to say, is obviously not sustainable. But what you have right now is 12 guys that Steve Kerr trusts. And he can literally look at, and the thing is, I think, like, are all of these guys going to be consistently amazing each night? No, but I think he has 12 guys that you can look at any of them and be like, tonight is probably your night. Like any of them can go off, which I think is just like absolutely incredible. The offense was so beautiful. I texted Caitlin because I was watching most of like the Lakers Suns games, and like when it was at the half, I switched over to watch. And I mean, the spacing, the offense just looked so great, so cohesive. Like the ball was popping. It was like I saw so many good just offensive sequences, and then like great like defensive sequences. To like, I love when you have back-to-back plays. So you get a stop on the other floor,
ends of the court.
Get like a fast break and, for a three it's just so beautiful to watch like a full play. You did everything. You stopped the other team on the other floor, and then you shot over them and, beat their defense. So
it's so good. They just, they've been, and like I said, I am with all of you. I get that they played two of the worst teams in the league. I'm not like discounting that, but over the last couple of years playing those worst teams in the league, like I said, we would literally lose to them in like the last 30 seconds. We were losing games in the last 5 minutes of a game. A 15-point lead was not safe with this team. It didn't matter who we were playing. And now we are comfortable and we are deep. And like Spencer said, obviously like the, 16 guys, it's not really sustainable. But do you know how like spry and healthy Draymond Green and Steph Curry and Buddy Hield and all these guys get to be towards the end of the season? Because they get to play all these random guys in the regular season, like in their super deep bench. It's incredible. And I'm high on them. I'm really excited to see them play I'm really excited to see how they stack up against like really good competition. I'm really excited for that. So
especially I think
shout out to them.
I think what was so important about them, or is so important about them being so deep, is that the past two games, like the starters haven't really like started out on fire, or started off coming out the gate, guns a-blazing. But the bench comes in and they've been on fire, and then the starters come back in and they match their energy. So I don't think I've, ever said in the Nuggets' existence of being a fan that the bench came out on fire, but so good for the Warriors. But
neither, and I have been a Nuggets fan for 29 years. So.
I am much higher on the Warriors. I'm excited to see how it goes. Obviously, I think Steph, and Draymond and, Kevon Looney and all those people are such like good leaders, because you have to be when you have like 12-man rotations going out. Like someone in the locker room is going to get their feelings hurt, because obviously you can't sustain a 12-man rotation. They're going to have to cut it eventually. It's a 12-man rotation. And Steve Kerr said he's sticking with it. And like the thing that he didn't say was for now. So I think it, allows like, or it's important that you have people like Steph and like to keep everyone happy, because
and that's why they said too, like Steph was saying, like the thing about the way that they're playing right now is that no one can have egos, because like I said, like even Steph is only playing 27 minutes. I'm sure Steph would love to go out there and play 40. I'm sure he would.
This in his career, I'd love to know. He's probably like, oh yeah, you guys got it.
You guys enjoy. Yeah. But like, I'm like, how cool
I'm gonna have
is
some
it
more
for like
slices.
Yes, like they were. Oh my god, I think they were like so hyped. Like Kyle Anderson drained a 3 last night, and Steph Curry. It was like in the fourth quarter, and Steph Curry had his hoodie on and was like just chilling at that point. And he and the rest of the bench were just so hyped because they're like, I haven't even. I'm not even tired at all. I'm watching my guys drain 3s.
I love when older. My hair's stuck in my mic. I love when older players, instead of like when they get older, getting like secretly butthurt and their ego bruised because young guys are coming up. I love when they're excited for young guys. So
That's Steph Curry, man.
I don't
That's
know why
I
I
love him.
can't remember who it was in the NFL. Was it Saquon? I think it was Saquon Barkley was like a couple yards out from 200 rushing yards. I think it was last game. And
It was. Yep. He was
they
13 yards out. Yep.
They asked him if he was, the coach literally came and sat him down. I know this is an NBA episode, but it's part of the point.
It makes sense. Yep.
The coach went up to him and said, I know you're close. Like, I want that for you. Like, but it's up to you. Like, you know, we've got the young guy in. Like, do you want me to put you in? Like, we can get you that and then take you out. And he was like, no, let the young bulls like get it. And I
let the young guys eat. And I freaking love that.
It's so mature, like
unselfish.
I love unselfish players. That's why a lot of the people I don't like in the league, even though I don't know them personally, I don't like their ego. I don't like how they play, because that's why I love Nikola Jokic. If he could not score a whole night, it would be his best night. So I love that Steph Curry is like letting all these guys just develop on his team. And he's probably like, man, we got everybody on here.
And you know what? The thing that I love about him too is that like he literally always says this, like with Brandon Pajemski and with Lester Quinones last year, they literally follow him around like a puppy. And they're just like, what is everything Steph Curry does? And he lets them, like he'll text them 24/7. Like they'll be like, what does Steph Curry eat? How does Steph Curry train? Like, what does he do? I want to be Steph Curry.
How long is your nap?
Literally. Yeah. What's your pregame nap? Literally.
Yeah.
Like, and but like he allows it and he also embraces it. Like these guys want to, like, they watch him warm up.
That is a leader, the definition of a leader.
Exactly. He wants his young guys to do well. He wants them to develop. And he's so happy to literally just like share his knowledge, share what he does, share any sort of insight. And that's like, again, one of my favorite things about him. That's why he's my favorite player. That is why I love him. I love who he is as a human.
It's
on
also
top
like
of who he is as a player.
Like a sense of security, because you know that obviously has a lot to do with ego, because he knows that he's
good.
one of the greatest. He knows he's one of the greatest. He knows he's proved that. He has 4 rings. So it's a sense of security to be like, yeah, like I'll tell y'all everything that I can to help you be as great, because I already know I'm great and I don't I have nothing left to prove in this league.
Yep, that's all he said. That's literally exactly what he said. He said, I'm literally playing for another championship at this point. That's all I want. Like, I want that 5th ring. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's enough about the Warriors. They're incredible. I'm so happy. I can't wait to see them keep playing and keep playing well, hopefully. But let's talk about our other team, who is maybe on the other end of that spectrum, who's hurting our feelings a little bit.
So after we're talking about deep benches, we have to talk about the thin benches.
The ones that are not deep?
And I know everyone's like, of course, it's game 1 overreaction. These are concerns that I've had since summer. So my concerns over summer have just been proved during game 1. Of course, you know, by the time this is up, the game will be starting. So you most definitely will not see this until after the Nuggets have played. Do I hope that today they play a totally different ball game? Yes. We're going to talk about like the Nuggets and Thunder in this one, but that game was so hard for me because the first points of the game are a Jokic 3. And I'm like, oh, we're fucking winning the championship. Like, just
me too. That's exactly what I said.
And the season right now, like, hand us the trophy.
Yeah.
Because if you're a Nuggets fan, you know he was not hitting those at the end of the season, and that was like our demise in the last 2 minutes of Game 7. But the Nuggets just looked so old compared to the Thunder, and the Thunder came in and they looked like they came to prove a statement. I'm here.
1000%.
Yes, we didn't, go far in the playoffs like we wanted to. That's, I'll always say experience does push teams farther. Like it's time and time again. You have to get your heart broken a couple times before you're ready to make that step.
Totally.
And I will always say it's very different to play, a team on any given night. They have back-to-backs than to plan for a game or plan for one team for 7 games, and learn from a team day, every other
after
day or
each
every
game.
couple days.
Yep.
Yes. So
totally. And that's OKC real quick is also one of those teams that has a deep bench like we were just talking about. Yes. And that is another difference, I think, as well.
They got Alex Caruso. And, even though Isaiah Hartenstein wasn't in there, it did not matter. Chet looked Like, no, Wemby obviously did not have a great game on Thursday. Chet looked incredible. He
looks so
was
good.
schooling Jokic a little bit. And what I said, like, the Nuggets just looked slow. They looked out of shape. Like, they clearly were not in midseason form. So again, yeah, I'm not like, oh, the Nuggets are going to be the 10th seed after that one game. But we do have problems because I'm thinking about what we need to do to win another ring. And like,
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
It just doesn't look great. You know, like, I'll talk about the Thunder for a little bit because I want to like go deeply into the Nuggets. But yeah, like Alex Caruso, like he came off the bench. Him and Lou Dort were everywhere.
Lou Dort always is little shit.
So annoying. And like Lou Dort is always so fucking annoying. I can't stand him.
I know.
But I just want to say, like, with the Thunder, like they were playing with so much effort. Like their effort was miles above the Nuggets. You know, I think we were up by like 7 points, and then it was a while where the starters would get like down by like 5, and then they'd stagger the bench again, and then we'd lose it. So I don't have much to say on the Thunder other than like they came in to show, yes, we are who you thought we were. We are looking like we're going to be the first seed in the West. And like moving into the Nuggets with that, the moment I knew like that the game was over, there were like 2 big plays. And the first,
am I boring you?
Am I boring you? You okay?
I'm getting tired from my monster. It's ADHD for you.
Literally. That's why I take naps after I take my Adderall, and everyone's like, "Are you okay?"
Feel it. No, they say Adderall naps are normal.
Yeah, if you're meant to be on it. So
correct. Yeah.
2 plays that basically told me this game was over, effort wise. So there was like a ball that, you know, we lost, I think, on the other end, and it rolls out into the back court. No one on the Nuggets team went for it. Shea busted his ass to scoop and score, grabbed the ball, did an easy, you know, layup.
Literally gave him 2 free points.
And as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, they don't care. Like, they are not here to win. And I was
their brain's not in it.
Bothered by that, because that's admitting defeat to me. Like, and again, Caitlin and I always talk about, we don't have to always be nice to like our teams. Like, if you see a lack of effort, like, you don't have to be like, well, maybe they were just tired. Like, no, they sucked.
It's okay to be honest with it. Yes, it's okay to be honest with that. Like, I think that we're allowed to criticize our team and see where things can be better.
Because we know they can be better.
Exactly. We know that they can be better. And that is a way that they could have been better in this game, is just by their general effort. Like, I swear to God, after halfway through the first quarter, once the Thunder started, because like the first half of the first quarter, the Nuggets were on fire. They were moving, off-ball movement. Yes, the spacing looked fantastic. Everyone was doing their job. There was effort. Everyone was fast. Everyone was hype. And I don't know if it was just like that, maybe general lack of conditioning, because Coach Malone had literally said,
like it.
Yes, Coach Malone literally said a week or 2 ago that conditioning felt like a problem and that no one was willing to like run and work and get in shape. And I think that that's showing. He was saying that sucks. You have to anyway. And it seems like they just seem like tired really quickly. Like they're not in mid-season form, which makes sense because it's not mid-season.
Yeah.
It's not mid-season, but I think it's important to acknowledge that like there are things that they can continue to work on. And I think that just like their general conditioning and everything like that will also help with the effort, because once they're conditioned and they're like in shape, it gives you like, you know, you have that boost to actually put in the effort and not just let your ass get kicked.
It just, I think like a lot of what bothered me too is that like last year, and they're like, oh, well, we like being the hunters instead of the hunted. I was like, because the Celtics to me came out and were like, oh, we're getting another ring. Mm-hmm. And the Nuggets looked almost like, well, we got a championship. Like, what do you want from us? Like, we did that.
What else do you need? Yeah,
you
we
wanted
brought
another one?
So
I think like, again, so that's what I'm going to say about the Thunder. They looked amazing. They came to make a statement. They did. They look young. They look healthy. They look in shape. Of course, like our players aren't old, but they're older than the Thunder. So the Thunder continue to be a threat in the West, and especially because they weren't even shooting that great from like beyond the arc. So it's like not like they were shooting the lights out and we were just having a bad night offensively.
Yeah, but like you had Shea floaters. Shea was driving. Like when you have your point guard being when you have your point guard being aggressive like that and going into the paint and making those those mid-range floaters and those mid-range, fadeaways and things like that.
Yeah.
Like you should not be getting beat on every single possession by every single one of these guys. And I think like it's important to note that like when we say that the Nuggets looked old, it's really because of like the lack of being in shape and that lack of especially when you're playing. Yes, especially when you're playing a team who is like young and spry,
the youngest in the league.
Exactly. Like they're hype and they're athletic and they're fast and they want this. They are hungry. They're a hungry team who got out in the first round last year being the 1 seed. Yes, they want it. They came out and they showed that they want it. And I think that we kind of showed the opposite. I think we kind of showed a little bit of complacency. And
especially towards the end
that.
of the game with like the rebounding was lazy, which again, I'll say it every episode, effort, like it just takes effort to put your hands up. Y'all are we have so many tall guys on our team. And then the last play that I also knew it was over was when AG was literally under the basket alone. And instead of dunking it, he kicked it out to CB for a corner 3 that obviously did not go in. I will say, before I get into my concerns about like the Nuggets as a whole, more than this game, CB looked incredible.
He looked
of course,
so good.
The thing that was annoying is, a lot of our concerns were like, okay, how's CB going to fit in the starters? Like, I thought it was going to be okay, but I was like, as long as CB does semi-okay offensively, we're great.
He's like my only non-concern right now.
He's the only guy that did anything offensive. Like Jokic, of course, had a triple-double on a terrible... Like his terrible night is triple-double. Love him.
I love him so much.
The spacing... So the beginning of the first half of the first quarter was beautiful. The spacing was great. Everyone had room to operate. Literally, after the first bench stint, I love Russell Westbrook, but he looked terrible. He was so sloppy. He was like doing those throwing the ball into the stands, like losing the ball. Like it was... it was so... like. And then the offense was so clunky on the bench end that like my eyes started twitching every time. Like I said, it was spooky because like Julian, there was a play where Julian made a point, but he lost it between his legs and then awkwardly got it behind. It was one of those things where you're like, oh, like my eyes.
Yeah. And I think a big part of that even too was that with the offense is that there were so many times that I saw two guys cutting at the exact same time. And I'm like, then you're running into each other under the basket. They just they don't look cohesive. They don't look like they really understand what each other's gonna do yet.
Well, and Jokic was
interesting.
Was screwed because after the first half of the first quarter, Jokic had 4 guys in the paint. The spacing was awful.
It was so bad.
No one could get to the rim. Jokic couldn't get to the rim. The paint was so crowded. It was so miserable. So my thing, I'm so upset with the front office side of things because yes, we have Nikola Jokic, we have Jamal Murray, we have all these people, but when they're not it scares me how inconsistent our starters can be. When you give Jamal a max and AG a max and Michael max, you get a max, you get a max. And then none of them are producing on any given night, which happens kind of a lot. Yeah. And Jamal needs, and I thought he was going to come out and step up on the first game of the season, but he needs to be playoff Murray. In the regular season, sometimes we have to because we're screwed. And I want to go over the stats because Christian Braun, again, he was my player of the game. He was great. He was the only plus in the plus minuses. He was a +8 out of everyone.
Good for
Russell
him.
Westbrook
and he
was a -24.
He was all over on both sides of the floor. CB, he did great.
I had so many thoughts going in. I keep forgetting which little points I want to touch on. But one of the things I wanted to say was so great about CB was that everyone knew that he was going to be the first player that was dared to shoot. When you have Michael Porter and Jamal and my headphones coming out and Jamal. So
feel that.
Instead of just jacking up threes, Christian Braun just took it to the rim.
Straight up.
He's fast. So I was so impressed by that because I think they did just want him to keep trying to get his 3-ball going. And I think, you can still tell like the hesitation on his 3-ball. So it's almost so good to see him just going, you know what? I like know that this 3 might not go in, but I know I can go and get a layup. That
Straight
was
to the basket.
so great by Christian Brown. So now you have like your other starters. So Jamal shot 30%, Michael Porter 29%. Michael was 5 of 17, 3 of 10 from 3, and then Jamal was 4 of 13, 2 of 5 from 3. And then Aaron was 5 of 12. Okay, so the amount of times that Aaron could have just dunked it.
So many.
It's so bad because
guaranteed points, babe.
They said multiple times over the summer that our shooting were like towing the line on concerning. Yeah, it's the offense is
we're here.
Scary. And then you had Nikola Jokic come out and say, I don't think we're good shooters except maybe Jamal and Michael, which I feel like was almost a shot at like the front office, maybe just because I feel like the front office, has focused way too much on expecting the young guys to develop, which is so important. I agree. But when you have Nikola Jokic, I almost compare it to like the New York Knicks, like they gave away all their money because they said our time is now. We have Jalen Brown, like we
Warriors.
have all these pieces, and they said, let's focus on now. Okay.
Yep.
Like
there's a window.
We're not going to have Nikola Jokic in 8 years. Yes, you'll probably have Peyton Watson and Julian Strother. Are you going to be able to keep them on the same team probably in 8 years? Probably not even. So I think that's what's upsetting me the most. And again, I know it's dramatic, but after like the last few seasons, like all of these seasons that we've had a terrible bench, like it just looks so bad. And I literally compared over the summer Jokic to Jesus Christ because I feel like he was sent from, the Serbia to suffer for us.
To sacrifice.
I can't imagine being at the front office and knowing you have Nikola Jokic, the best player in the world, 3-time MVP, should have been 4 Finals MVP, Western Conference MVP, and you aren't doing everything in your possibility to give him the deepest roster that you can. And so it's just frustrating. Like people Michael Porter is like the 13th highest paid player in the league or 14th, 15th.
Yeah.
He's like, maybe
Wild.
not now with all the new contracts, but last year he was in like the top 15. I do believe, I could be wrong. And, to have that being your 3-point sniper and to have a good game, every couple weeks,
it hurts.
It hurts, and it's
so bad.
And I made my comment about getting Buddy Hield, and someone was like, "We have Michael Porter Jr." And I was like, "I'm talking about even for the bench. He's on the bench for the Warriors. He could have been on our bench." And then, like I said, people were talking about Julian Strother. I'm talking about the now. I'm not talking about how Buddy Hield's going to look in 3 years when he's been in the league for 11 years.
This is what I talked to you about a little bit before about the last year Warriors. This is why I really liked the trades that the Warriors made, because the last year Warriors, while their bench was deep and they had a lot of really good young guys don't always take you very far because, again, they don't have all of that experience, and it's really important to have good vets on your bench, which is why Buddy Hield, DeAnthony Melton, and Kyle Anderson are fantastic, because when your starters are tired and when your young guys kind of need like that almost like leadership on the court and like a little bit of consistency, that's who does it, is those kind of like good bench vets.
They slow everything down, which is our championship run. We had Jeff Green, and Ish Smith, which were great. And we have DeAndre Jordan right now. And he, of course, is like an amazing presence, and he's an invaluable presence. He loves the Nuggets. I watched them asking, all the Denver Nuggets players, like their favorite place, the best, they asked several questions, which was the best city, and he kept saying Denver. But the fact that he's not playable to a high level, hurts because we're paying it. And last year, that's how it felt. Our bench was so young, and they just looked even Julian Strother. I know he's going to be good, but he went out there and you can tell he's nervous because those guys do know if they make a mistake, they are probably going to get benched for a little bit or get a talking to.
Yep.
And
this is the first time a lot of them are experiencing these types of minutes and these types of games
with the number one team.
Exactly. So really, you're out here kind of giving them this experience, which is awesome. Again, it's something that's so invaluable. Like
Yes.
you need these guys to learn and to make mistakes. And so I think like playing them higher minutes at the beginning of the season is not a problem at all. But it is nice to have a couple of vets on the bench that you can, when Jokic has to go out or when Jamal Murray has to go out or MPJ or AG, you know, or whatever, you can have like a couple of other good, comfortable vets come in and at least hold a lead for you or even extend a lead and not so much lose any lead that you've built.
So the thing that I thought was probably the strangest was Julian Strawther guarding SGA.
It was a choice.
It was a choice. Poor, he was trying so hard. And it felt like...
Good for him.
It felt like... Also, I guess we should address that. Caitlin's before, when you wonder why Caitlin looks a little different, it's because her battery died and we need to get new batteries. So she just
I'm using my computer camera. I look pink, which honestly,
vibes are high. So it literally looked like SGA just looked at him and was like, y'all put him on me?
What are you doing?
I feel like he was insulted. He was like, for real?
Really? Yeah, really? Are you sure?
But yeah, and then you have one of my biggest issues from previous years, which is Murray staggering with the bench. Jamal Murray in a 2-point guard lineup has never looked good in all my years of watching. It didn't work with Facu and Jamal. It didn't work with last year with Reggie Jackson and Jamal. It doesn't work with Russell Westbrook and Jamal. And Coach Malone doubled down and said, I think these minutes are going to be productive.
We have to figure it out.
No, because I was praying that we learned from last year that it doesn't work. And I don't even think he wants to run the bench unit. It just all looks bad. And I'm like, sometimes you just have to, like, if things aren't working and if things continuously look bad, sometimes you do need to scrap it all and just switch things up and see what happens.
It's okay to play with like lineups and to see who works better with who.
Especially because it's the beginning of the season. You don't need to double down on your choice. You can experiment. Like you have new guys. Peyton Watson's back in the lineup. I hate Jamal Murray in a 2-guard lineup with Russell Westbrook. I don't think it's ever going to look good. And
I'll be interested to see if they change anything up at all tonight or how that looks. I'll be really
interested. I have no idea. But it like my thing is I just feel like it's a lot of wasting Jokic at his prime. And I really wish that they would be the people that are like, the future is now, not in 5 years when these other guys develop and Jokic is gone. Like these guys are going to be amazing players, but we need guys that are amazing players right now. And I feel like Jokic could have easily had 2 championships by now, and it's just frustrating.
And I know that I use the Warriors as an example a lot, but that's because I think of like Steph Curry and making sure that you build a good team around Steph Curry. When you have one of the best players in the world, you have to make sure that you are giving them the proper weapons to play their best brand of basketball and to give them success. And the Warriors went on like this whole 2 timeline thing where they were like, you know, wanting to develop young players at the same time as like getting vets and taking them to the championship. And it just doesn't always work like that. Like you can have a few young players that you develop, but you shouldn't have 6 young players that you're developing when you have Nikola Jokic who's ready to win a championship and who's in his prime.
Yeah, it's just so frustrating. And again, like when you have Jokic make comments, like if we didn't know this
suck at shooting.
Caitlin and I's first few episodes, the team that wins always 100% of the time scores more points. And if we're not scoring, we are not winning. I don't want to keep going on and beating the dead horse. Hopefully I will be proven wrong after this is
prove
up
me
in the
wrong,
game.
please.
Prove me wrong. The last thing that Caitlin and I are going to do are check on our agendas for the week before we say goodbye, which is Caitlin and I's predictions that we kind of updated from our episode months and months ago.
We should though.
Yeah. For our Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Depoy, and MVP. And we're just going to check on how they're coming along.
Oh my God. Okay. Spencer.
I know I'm getting very tech savvy over here. So we have the Caitlin and Spencer Award Predictions Agenda Tracker. We are going to check on this each week at the end of the week when we do our weekend episode, not our midweek one. So Caitlin and I both have Luka for MVP. He didn't have a great efficiency night. He still got it done. I still think
he
is
still had a
wrong.
double-double, and he played incredible. I think that the second half was way better than the first, and I don't think that took anything away from who he is.
I don't think they are ever going to let Jokic get a 4th MVP. So
Agreed.
Otherwise, literally, this is my second choice, essentially, because I'm always going to pick Nikola Jokic. Next, Caitlin and I both have Dalton Connect for Rookie of the Year. He did amazing in the preseason, and he's done fine in his minutes. He just hasn't had a lot of them. They've played like 2 good teams. So I put like the yellow is just like it's on track. Like it's not his stock hasn't increased, and we haven't decreased. We're on track, I think, for that potential. Caitlin has 6th Man of the Year as Russell Westbrook, and I have Buddy Hield. Caitlin, sorry, but your stock is down after that last game. Maybe it'll be proven wrong. Maybe.
Honestly, I'm going to need some Russell Westbrook, some exciting stuff today for me not to look like an idiot.
I'm going to be editing this while in between watching the game and getting this up. So maybe this will be proven wrong. Let's hope so. Probably not.
Love that for me.
Buddy, I do love Russell Westbrook. I'm so sorry. It was just a really bad game. Buddy Hield is up. Obviously, he looked amazing. He fit right in. Wemby, Depoy, I have Anthony Davis. Wemby did not have the best game the other day. He had I think only 2 blocks.
And he was 3 for 17. So
yeah. But that's, we're focusing on the Depoy. I still think
true. Yeah.
This, I think, was a fluke game, of course. I think I'm not worried about Wemby being in the talks for Depoy at all. Anthony Davis obviously has looked very, very monster at the end of this. So that is our check-in. We will check in again next weekend. All right. So sorry that our batteries are quitting out on us. Happens.
I look incredible. I look incredible in pink.
You look little pink gal. We were so excited to have you here. And if you're new, we're so happy to have you here. Check us out. Share us with your friends. All of the links are all down below. Caitlin and I love to talk with you guys on social media. We have our merch if you want some fun, girly or non-girly. We have black men's type or, neutral gender options. Gender neutral, that's the word.
Everyone and everything. And lots of we actually have lots of guys that love wearing our t-shirts.
Yeah.
Because we do have, they're good quality t-shirts, and they just have our logo on it in black and white, or you can even get it in pink. So we have lots of cute merch. We have a Patreon that we're going to be hopefully getting an awesome video out for you guys next week when we're together.
So sorry. We've been slacking.
Yes. Look, life is hard. And you know what? We're just so happy you're here. We're so happy to be here. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, parents, pets. We don't care. Share with anyone.
We don't discriminate.
Exactly. If you like it, tell us. If you don't, move on. Don't want to hear it. I'll cry.
Nope.
Yeah.
We did not twist your arm to be here. And so if you're still here at the end to tell us that you don't like us, you're a fan because you watched anyway.
Period. Hate watcher.
Okay, we love you. We will see you in a few days for our NFL and NBA fans for an NFL recap and a new, NBA recap for midweek. So we will talk to you guys soon.
Bye.